Hey, you know what? I know we've had our issues over the last few weeks trying to get this whole thing dialed in and under control, because we're all working in a different world right now, but you're doing an awesome job. Thank you very much, and just keep on doing what you're doing, and I think we're finally getting this thing under control. Yeah, cool, awesome. Just you keep looking after the office, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Awesome. I gotta go do the show right now. Okay, cool. See you. All right, bye. Well done. Awesome. Good. Yeah. Hey, welcome to what a beautiful evening. I don't even know why I got the glasses on. It just seemed like all of a sudden the sun went away. But welcome to episode number 17 of the 411. I'm Lee Sterry. Kevin Jack is behind the camera from WeeStreem, the people that power this program. We're headed toward the Fiddler's poorhouse, and thanks to them once again for hosting this thing. We are powered and fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited, and we got a great show coming up for you tonight. And man, what a beautiful fall October evening. So come on in, and we'll tell you how you can get involved. And that's it. Come on in. All right, here we go. Man, okay. What a beautiful evening this is. Holy cow. Kevin of WeeStreem is going to get us sort of wired in how, so you can, when the time comes, and the time will come, when you want to just kind of click into this show, this thing that he's doing right now with my left ear, it's all safe, it's okay, but that is going to, thank you, Kevin, it's going to give me an opportunity to hear you when you click into this thing. And man, this is so cool, because this is our, what, Kevin? This is our second foray in the evening show from Fiddler's Poorhouse, right?
I think we're up to number 3, Lee.
Second or was that the third one?
Yeah, I think this is number 3.
Holy cow, it's the third one already. Time flies when you're having fun. So hey, welcome to the program, and this is indeed episode 17. 17 already. Fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited, powered by WeeStreem, which is Kevin's organization. I am your host, Lee Sterry. I guess you see that thing along the bottom of your screen, so I don't have to mention my name anymore, because that's just like overdoing the whole thing. And there's a lot been going on since the last week that we did this 411. Also, want to thank Nick, and man, what a great crew of people that Nick has providing all the information on Niagara 411 that we use. Now, as you will look here, over to my left, your right on the screen, Hugs Over Masks Wednesdays, protests in support of freedom and small businesses. We have been talking a lot over the last few weeks about masks and the do's and don'ts and the pros and the cons, etc. of masks. And there are a number of people, obviously, and you may be one of them, that does not exactly fall into the category of approving of the whole wearing of masks scenario. So there are protests in support of freedom and small businesses. September 30th, obviously we're past that. October 1st, obviously October 7th is coming up at City Hall in Welland. That was yesterday. Now, October 14th is happening in Niagara Falls. This is the soon-to-be protest in support of freedom and small businesses, as they call it. Is the organization of Hugs Over Masks. We are going to be chatting with Sandor, Ligetfalvy, and that comes up in about 5-10 minutes or so. And then there is another one on October the 21st, and that'll be happening at the Niagara Regional Headquarters over on Shimon Parkway. just off St. David's and Shimon Park. You know where that is. All right, so also coming up a little later in the program, there's Kevin, I guess.
Yeah, howdy, Lee.
What do we
I'm
call
a co-host,
you?
producer, magician.
Partner in crime.
Sure, yeah, doing it all.
You're wearing the Ront Edge, which underneath that jacket would be Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I got a Blue Jays shirt on
Right now
today.
it looks like Ront Edge.
Yeah, okay. No, I support more the Blue Jays, the Toronto franchises. Go Raptors, and I guess the Jays in Buffalo. So this year. So
how's your week been? I haven't talked to you in a week. What's been going on with you? Everything good with the WeeStream and stuff?
Everything's good. You know what? We're fielding lots of requests to manage people's virtual events. So if you find yourself in that situation, if you're the CEO, especially for small organizations where they don't have a robust IT department, anything like that, give us a call. We can definitely help you out and hook you up. We just got finished doing the live streaming for Grape and Wine Festival a couple of weeks back. That was met with great acclaim throughout Niagara, and just doing lots of stuff, man. A wedding this weekend out at Pillar and Post as numbers continue to get crunched from COVID. We find ourselves doing a lot of weddings these days. So anything virtual, anything online, I think WeeStream. Thanks for that, Lee.
Now, have you been involved with, we didn't talk about this actually before the show, and this is something that people like me should never do to people like Kevin, is to surprise them with a question, because as lawyers say, you're never supposed to ask a question if you don't already know the answer, but I'm going to do that anyway. How has the WeeStreaming of local political efforts been? Like, have you done any councils recently that have been interesting?
That have been interesting? Well, Niagara Falls was interesting on Tuesday. The next step was made in what is the Thundering Waters project. I know it's been changed.
The Thundering Waters thing is still going?
Oh, it's still going. I mean, the last time it came before council, I think, was 2018. So it's been a couple of years, and it was back before council. It was heavily debated, and it passed. So that was what was the actual thing that passed? What was the deal? I don't know, Lee, because there's so many opportunities that these come before council, whether it's whatever stage in the process, but it cleared another hurdle. Now, I don't think that means that the shovel's in the ground tomorrow, but it's a step closer.
All right. Now, there was another thing I was reading today, and I know we don't make this show too political, but I think you can't really escape the fact that there are politics involved in Niagara. One of the things that popped into my head, and we didn't talk about this again before the show. I apologize to Kevin for sort of springing this on him, but it just popped into my head, is that there was something that came up in front of Niagara Falls City Council, whereby there is a commissioner been now brought in to discover or to investigate whether the conversation re the Old Boys Network, Carolyn Iannone, etc., and as to whether the Old Boys Network thing was something that is worth investigation. You were probably there listening to this. What do you think about this whole thing?
You know what, Lee? I'm going to have to take a pass on this one.
Okay.
I work for the city of Niagara Falls in an impartial role, and I don't think it's fair for me to start speaking publicly as to what side of that debate I fall on.
So I did catch you off guard.
No, that's okay, but you know what? I encourage people to go read the article, do your own research of background. There's a lot of background to this, okay? It's not just about that article, and engage and decide for yourself.
Kevin's going to give me a really hard time after the end of this program. He's going to say, "Why did you ask me that?" I don't know. It just came up.
Now,
also,
Lee, I want to promote that we've got Sandor coming on with the Hugs Over Masks in just a couple of minutes.
I know.
We also want to promote the fact that Patrick Alexander is coming on at 7:40. Patrick Alexander.
That was a very good diversion, Kevin, because that's exactly where I was going to go. I was going to say that Pat Alexander was going to come on.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up going on?
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on? You fan? I'm a fan.
You're a fan? Okay.
Is this, am I being on?
Yeah, man, you're on. What's up?
You're on.
I like you guys do. I like what you're doing. I support it 100%.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have yourselves a great night, mate.
Sorry to intrude.
No, it's okay.
No, that's cool, man. It's all about.
That's what we're here for. All right.
I'm gonna go. come to this bar the first time.
Okay.
All right. Come on in, boys. Come on in.
Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. Do you mind what asking what you're doing?
We are doing a live stream program called the 411 on Live Stream Niagara. Whoa. And you can check us out on Facebook, okay?
Lovely. I bet you guys have heard of me last week, yeah?
I don't know, mate.
2 weeks ago, yeah?
Okay. Well, check us out and we'll talk to you later.
Can I shout out a follow?
To who?
You guys.
To us?
All right.
Yeah.
Shout.
What's your name?
My name's Lee.
Shout out to Lee.
Yeah.
Good guy.
That's Kevin.
These guys on. All right, boys. Look at the camera right there and say hi.
Go into that camera, say hello.
Shout out to Lee. Shout out to
Kevin.
Kevin on the mic.
All right.
Shout out 411.
All right, thanks, boys.
I got my boy Kevin Lee right here.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, boys.
Appreciate it.
All right, so anyway, I was throwing up Patrick. Here's Patrick at the Lip Sync Battle fundraiser for Women's Shelter, South Niagara. And this is his rendition of Vogue. You probably already figured out that he's doing Madonna.
I think that's Madonna, right?
Yeah. And I'd play the audio for you, but you know what? Copyright and Facebook, we'd get yanked down in a second.
I know.
So as you can see, he's a colorful guy.
He is.
So Patrick will be joining us at around 7:40.
Yeah. Yeah, so he will be here in about a half an hour or so.
All right. So anyway, we got Sandor here, or Sandor rather.
Sandor's in?
Yeah, and let's bring him on the program. All right.
Sandor, am I saying this right? Ligetfalvy?
Hi, Lee. Hello.
Hey, Sandor, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Am I pronouncing your last name correctly, Ligetfalvy?
Yes, you are.
Okay, just curiosity speaking here. What is the derivative of Ligetfalvy? What's the nature or the background of that surname?
When my grandfather came to Canada, he chose that name.
Okay.
And it's a Hungarian name, and he arrived in the mid '50s as a Iron Curtain immigrant.
Yeah.
Yep. So my name is a copy of his name.
Interesting. Very. And Sandor, that is obvious. I've heard that name before. That is obviously one of the Eastern Iron Curtain type first names as
right.
well, right?
Yeah, from Hungary.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandor.
Canadian, from Toronto.
You must be very proud of that name.
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Actually.
Good for you. Okay.
But I try not to be too proud of it.
Pardon?
But it has sort of set me aside, and I was made fun of as a kid. I was a little bit different, so it made me a bit of an outsider.
Well, you know what? Kids are children can be cruel. Children are always made fun of or bullied or whatever by other children. If your name isn't Scott or John or Jim or whatever, you're going to be made fun of. But in these
I'll
days,
be made fun of for what I stand for today too. So let's talk about that.
This and that is exactly
you
a
can call
perfect.
me COVID in heaven if it helps.
That's a perfect segue because that's where I wanted to go with this. Now, hugs over masks is sort of the terminology that you're going by today. Give us a little bit of background, Sandor, over where this mask protest or anti-mask protest or hugs over masks movement came from. Give us a little bit of background.
Well, Hugs Over Masks is a national movement that was founded by Colin and Vlad, and they've been doing a series of protests and events in various cities around Canada, including in St. Catharines at Montebello Park. For every Sunday there was a protest in the park, and that's been going on all summer. And then leading into September, there was the extension of the mandatory mask bylaw at Niagara region. And so I joined the group and suggested, look, we have this September 17th Niagara region extension deadline weekend protest leading up to that, which got a lot of people energized. We started a Facebook group in early September, and over the next few weeks we promoted protests and engaged in various protests. That's the broad stroke of what's going on here.
Okay, but so what is it that drives you? What is the philosophy?
Well, are you referring to the Hugs Over Mask has a philosophy of peace, love, positivity. So it's going to take the negative energy and treat people with respect and non-judgment. So it has a positive-minded philosophy. In terms of the issues themselves, I'm sure we could break them down one by one, but the fundamental argument being made is that we'd be better off in society giving each other hugs than giving each other masks, even during the so-called pandemic.
Okay, Sandor, I'm not here to make you feel uncomfortable or to like overwhelm you with challenge, but what is the motivation between what you're trying to do? And I agree, hugs are wonderful, but why not the masks?
Well, masks, Hugs Over Masks is pro-choice on the issue. So it's an individuated choice, not a choice of mandate. So to have a one-size-fits-all solution to the whole spectrum of humanity is unacceptable. And there are consequences to it. So perhaps in laboratory settings, in an optimal conditions, masks are proven to limit the spread. But we aren't in a laboratory, we're in our real lives. And we're not talking about masking adults, we're talking about masking children. And so there are consequences psychologically, socially, and of course economically to all of this.
Are you, is your organization con all mask wearing or just under certain circumstances?
Well, two things to clarify there. The term organization would be a loosely applied organization.
Okay.
It's more appropriate to refer to it as an outlet. To answer your question, pro-choice. So it's not anti-mask, although we are anti-mandate.
Okay, so can you please separate those two? I'm not sure how you separate anti-mandate and anti-mask. I'm not trying to be contrary. I'm just trying to ask you to clarify for me.
Well, maybe you could clarify the question that you're asking.
Okay. Anti-mandate to me is, if I were you, here's how I would answer my own question. I would say anti-mandate is something that is designated by the government. Anti-mask would be something that would be self-discriminating for the person. Is that what you're trying to say?
Again, certainly from the position of Hugs Over Masks position, it's a pro-choice position, meaning each individual has the choice to make their own decisions, as opposed to a mandate, which each individual doesn't have the choice to make their own decisions because they've been mandated.
Okay.
And of course,
go ahead.
The businesses are being pressured with compliance, the individuals are being pressured with compliance, and there's a lot of social bullying taking place because, of course, the public is being told that the second wave is our fault. So no wonder they're resentful towards us. Like, no wonder they're resentful towards us. So we're getting, and us being anyone who chooses not to wear a mask.
Okay, so with your group or with your movement, is it your and your members or believers understanding that wearing masks does not prevent the spread of COVID-19?
Well, there's a variety of scientific references that can be made, including references that suggest that it actually makes infection rates worse. So there's a spectrum of opinions within people who are part of the movement, and those people will have a variety of sources and references to present if ever they're given an opportunity, such as you've given me, to speak plainly and openly and comfortably about it. Yep. So that's one reference I can make.
Kevin, go ahead. You want to hop in?
I'm just going to hop in on this
Jack
one.
is going to join us here, Sandor.
Just wondering about the group itself, or the collective. we live in a society and government mandates a lot of things. So why masks? I mean, it's government's role to mandate things to help society kind of click along. So,
yes, exactly.
So why masks?
Well, I mean, you said that it's government's role to mandate things, and I'll take it rhetorically and say that it's the government's job to listen to the people, and not the people's job to listen to the government. So you're right that there are protocols, laws, and various mandated behaviors. That's true. But this isn't a seatbelt issue. This is something that people, maybe not a majority of people, this is something that at least a strong contingent of dissidents regard as muzzles. So it's a little different than traffic signs.
Somebody must have brought up to you the seatbelt thing before, because that's what was lurking. Sandor, I have to say congratulations to you for pushing that argument aside right off the bat, because that was what I was actually thinking of. Is okay,
sure.
We were mandated, and it's law to wear seatbelts,
right.
But you might not wear a seatbelt, and you just actually pushed that argument aside. You must have been presented with that argument before. For you to bring that up now, somebody must have mentioned that to you.
It's not my first rodeo.
Huh?
I've been engaged in this discourse for 2.5 solid months, and obviously I've been an observer of it the entire time.
Now, I'm going to hop in again, Sandor.
I'm not sure if you guys are aware that I'm the guy who pulled up the stickers at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that even. So I'm that guy.
Yeah, you're that guy.
And so since then, so that action was parodied by the Beaverton, who said anti-maskers are against stop signs now. So yes, I've been well prepared in that particular rhetoric because my action was satirized.
Yeah, okay.
Sandor,
Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, let me hop in here. How are people in your organization or your collective, how are they being received when they try to go places without masks?
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of reports through the group from individuals who report being bullied either by customers or by staff. The general consensus is that the Niagara Region bylaw wasn't clear in expressing exemptions, and that exemptions are valid. And so I think the answer to the question is quite clear on people speaking for themselves through the group. So for your viewers, we're at Facebook, Hugs Over Masks Niagara. And it's actually the only Hugs Over Masks group which is open.
Okay.
So
I've actually got the Facebook page up on the screen right now. I know you can't see that.
Yeah, you can't see it, Sandor, but your page is right there. Now, can I ask you a very direct question? And again, I'm not trying to be counterproductive here with our conversation. Is it your belief? It's a two-part question. Part one, is it your belief that wearing masks does not prohibit the spread of COVID-19? And if that is true, part two, why?
Why do I believe that?
No, part one. Part one is, do you believe that the wearing of masks prohibits or does not prohibit the spread of COVID-19? And number two, if so, if you believe that, why?
I think that there's mixed evidence on it. So I've been doing research through scholarly articles, looking up mask stuff. And if you change the search terms to 1990 to 2019, you'll get all of the data prior to 2020. So anytime you search masks in 2020...
I asked you what you believe, Sandor.
What I believe?
Yeah. Do you believe that wearing masks does or does not prohibit the spread of COVID?
I think the evidence shows that it doesn't have an effect.
Okay.
Put it clearly. I think the evidence shows that it is not effective in the way that it's being presented as being effective. And that answers your second question. Why do I think that? Because the evidence suggests that. And we can make references, and we could have a discussion, and we could...
this could go on all night. I realize that. Yeah.
Yeah, all we can ask for is that the viewers, through open-mindedness, look at it. So here's, again, I mentioned the study a little earlier. I just read it a little earlier today. There is a study where surgeons wore a mask and surgeons left a mask on the table. The mask that they wore had more virus on it. The mask on the table had less, which means that the ambient, it's actually catching the particles on your mask. Okay. And then, of course, there's a variety
let me ask you one more question then, Sandor, is what are you hoping to achieve? What would be your end goal from what you're trying to say? What would you like the end result to be?
The end result? Well, I mean, I hate to be rhetorical about it, but freedom, the old normal, a return to sanity. I mean, the protocols and measures that have been taking place aren't sane. They're my view, and I think the view of the people in the movement, is that the cure is worse than the disease, and this is affecting children. It's affecting the economy, and so on and so forth. So I have a newborn. He's neurologically developing in a society where people are covering their faces. So his brain's forming for the first time ever. You have a fully grown brain. You can handle wearing a mask in and out of a store, and you can still be yourself. But we're talking about children who are being put through social isolation.
So what is the and I'm really not trying to be argumentative here. I'm just, so what would be your,
maybe I could clarify.
What would be your approach to this other than the current approach that's in place?
My approach to handling a World Health Organization designated pandemic?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got to follow the money and check the sources. There's a clear consensus in the movement of outright rejection of the World Health Organization's accuracy. There's a clear suspicion of political entanglement from entities such as the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, as well as Bill Gates and his money-making schemes. So, I mean, we would like to see justice for the people who've imposed this on us, this social engineering project upon us. We would like to see justice. I mean,
okay. Is that is that a way to systemic solutions for the spread of this disease? I mean, if masks aren't the way to go, if the current concepts and the scientific suggestions aren't the way to go, what is the way to go to get rid of it?
Well, I mean, the big news today, the reference point you can draw upon is the Great Barrington Declaration.
Right. Okay.
Right. I'm not sure if you saw this in the news today.
I did.
It was on CTV. It broke on Sunday, and it's been this petition going around started by an epidemiologist who suggests a herd immunity approach, that lockdowns have been more detrimental on children, on list it off, do your reading. You know who this lockdown is hurting.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a virus that has, according to numbers, and we should mention that the PCR tests, we should mention them, but according to numbers, 99.97% of people survive. But we have all these other litany of consequences that are happening to society. And of course, we need to keep in mind that this isn't happening. This isn't just is the virus an act of God, Lee? Did God make this virus, Lee?
I have no
what if the
concept
answer's
as
no?
to the origin of it. No.
What if the answer's no? I'm just asking. Let's have a frank discussion.
Does God create, or does any supreme being create any illness or epidemic or whatever? What is the state of anything?
Was it made in a lab? Was it made in a laboratory? Was it distributed as a social engineering project?
Okay, okay. Now we've changed the conversation. With all due respect, Sandor, we've changed the conversation to where did it begin as to how to prevent its spread or the propagation of it. Now we've got two different conversations going here. The source of it is not really what we were concentrating on. What we were concentrating on is how to solve it. and whether masks are a good thing or a bad thing, those other conversations are ancillary discussion.
I don't know if they're ancillary because context is everything. So you ask how to solve the problem, but if we don't understand the origins of the problem, how do we solve it?
I totally agree with you.
Right.
I totally agree with you. So
this is what
is the next? So what is the next?
We need to hold tight to the end of 2021. We need to hold tight, wearing masks on every child, man, woman, child, in your lobby, in your businesses, in your private residences.
Right.
You need to wear a mask until the end of 2021, when you must be injected with a vaccine, which is a huge money-making venture. There's a lot of money to be made on the back end.
I totally agree with you. There's no question about that. However, what we're dealing with, I think we've got short, medium, and long-term strategies here. Short term is to stop the spread. Medium term is to determine how we can perhaps stop the disease in the beginning, and then long term is how to prevent it from spreading forever and ever and ever. So we've got three different terms here, and what we were talking about today, and I appreciate you coming on here, Sandor, is to tell us what your concepts are, and you've clarified those very nicely for me, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And in no way am I trying to diss, for a better lack of a word, how you're thinking about the mask. I guess what I'm trying to just think about, I'm trying to think about short term, long term, medium term, and then at the end of the day, we can get to the things you're talking about is the root issue, which can prevent these kinds of concepts from propagating themselves going forward, because all of these things are very different levels of conversation. You have to appreciate that.
Certainly, but without recognizing the geopolitical context of the coronavirus, we're not really talking about the coronavirus. But I will talk about masks to answer your question.
I understand.
And to answer your question about masks, I believe it's the consensus of the movement that they slow down spread. It just slows it down. So that just means a longer pandemic.
Okay. Well, that, my friend, we can agree on.
Right? And a longer pandemic is, for me personally, more strain on my family and my newborn, as well as the thousands and thousands of other students.
How old is your newborn? Did you say?
6 months.
6 months.
So April, right in the middle of lockdown season, is when.
Oh my gosh, that must have been a challenge for you.
It was a challenge, and it's been a challenge for hundreds of thousands of people being separated from their families for something that.
Do you have a son or a daughter?
It's my son. Yeah.
Hey,
and
congratulations!
So he's 6 months old.
Yeah.
You can definitely school him as life goes forward that he was born in one of the most interesting years of the 21st century.
Oh, so far. Don't give next year a pass.
Absolutely. Sandor, I really appreciate you coming on, and we will have an opportunity, I'm sure, to continue this discussion because it's a big one. It's an important one. And you've made some great points here tonight, and I really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it. And thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Sandor. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Wow. This is going to be an interesting world we live in, Kevin, for the next period of time.
It is going to be, and I'm happy that we had Sandor on to have a frank discussion and,
Me too.
and hear what the points are.
I've been waiting to talk with one of these people.
I don't know that we're doing a good job of listening. We may not agree, but we should at least listen to differing viewpoints.
Absolutely,
because all their points are not invalid. I might not agree at the end of the day, but that doesn't mean I don't think the points are valid.
No, I enjoyed speaking with him, and I know I challenged him on some things, but he also challenged me on a few points, and we could have continued this debate probably in a much more polite way than the last presidential and vice presidential debates took place over the last week and a half. And the only thing I can say is the reason I wore a hat is so a fly would not come and rest on my head, because we saw that last night.
Now, Lee, you want to pull something up here? Hear a lot of the comments that are coming in via Niagara 411.
Please.
And they're just teaming in. Now, I know we've got Patrick coming up here scheduled to be in about 4 minutes. This is a great opportunity for people to come on the show. The link is right there in the description.
Absolutely. Please talk to me.
We see it commenting here. We see all these comments. People are really engaged in this conversation. So let's take it a step further and join us now on the program.
Yeah.
If you've got the Zoom app, it's 905-411-0411, or just click on the link. It's right there in the post description.
I would love to chat with you because we have these debates in our homes. We have these debates in our living rooms, in our rec rooms, etc. Are the masks doing anything? Is it worthwhile? Are we in the right place? Dean says this fella is the reason we can't have nice things. Steve says this interview is great. I love that he actually listens to the person he's interviewing. I'm assuming means me. Thank you. Seems open-minded, is respectful, but also asks important and necessary questions, and isn't afraid to call the person out if they change the subject or sidestep the actual question. I'm assuming that means me.
Kudos, Lee.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that because it's kind of what I like to do, Steve. Thank you.
And on the other side, this fella's the reason we can't have nice things, so we're going to get opinions on all sides.
Yeah. So I think it was a great conversation. Sandor is evading so many questions. Yates and 22 other people. Where are we going there, Kevin?
Sorry, just flew to the bottom here. Yeah. Microbiology, virology. I'll tell you masks
will not protect and have the potential to harm. Okay, Rob, thank you for that. Andre DeRosier.
Oh, sorry about that. Here, I'll get that back up.
We just lost it. That's okay.
No, it just says they're watching with you. Those notifications
they're watching
come
with
up.
you. Okay, thank you.
So a lot of people watching here. So again,
and it's awesome. Thank you.
If you want to come on and verbalize your texts, click on that link. Okay, click
I think
on that link
was
on the show.
You know what? I think that was a conversation that I would really appreciate you weighing in on. And of course, let me repeat to you that you can check in if you already have Zoom on your phone or your laptop. The telephone number is right here, right there, 905-411-0411, and it'll click into the green room, Zoom room, and Kevin will get you all prepared to come in and talk with us. Now, if you don't already have Zoom on your phone and you're viewing this, obviously, if you're listening to me talk, you're viewing it. But on the post, there's a link at the bottom. So click on that, and that'll take you into the Zoom green room, and we'll get you talking here. Before we bring Patrick Alexander on, which is going to be here in just a couple of minutes, I do want to thank Gales Gas Bars Limited for fueling this program, and they're going to stay with us, as I found out today, right through to the end of the year. And we thank you very much for that. So obviously they're showing their faith in this program and how we can help fuel Niagara's information and news and opinions and cross communication together. So I appreciate Jessica Friesen and Gales Gas Bars Limited for supporting this program all the way through to the end of the year. Also to Fiddler's Poorhouse. We are here in this beautiful open-air theater setting at 149 St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. And to Dave McParian and his staff who are indulging us every week here, because we do put them out. Anytime you've got a broadcast like this that comes in, it doesn't upset the staff, but it changes what they do and it changes their routine. And we appreciate the fact that they change their routine for us. And that's a big deal for us. Also to Kevin, Jack, and Brandon Schramm, the proprietors and owners of WeeStream, that provide the technology that provides the opportunity for me to do this, is a wonderful group to work with. So we are all of us Niagara entrepreneurs and people that are trying to promote, including Gales, including Fiddler's Poorhouse, including WeeStream, including my company, which is Sterry Voice Services. We are all local Niagara entrepreneurs just trying to make a living and trying to promote Niagara and to make us all the best that we can possibly be. And we would also like to appreciate the fact that you join us. And you can join us at any time. All you have to do is click on to Livestream Niagara or to Niagara 411 and Nick and your team at Niagara 411, allowing us to work with you to use this content and connect with people all over Niagara. It's an awesome opportunity. And man, I love this. I've been doing broadcasting now since 71, 70. It's about 45 years now, and it never gets old for me. I feel like a kid every day because you help keep me young, and I hopefully can help you keep connected and keep informed, and this is a wonderful way to continue what we're doing. And there's my man. There is Patrick Alexander, who, as we just saw a little clip of the earlier day, who absolutely killed it at the lip sync competition the other day. Mr. Patrick Madonna Alexander, how the hell you doing?
I'm doing great, Lee. How are you?
I am terrific. Kudos on the incredible performance the other night. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, it was symbolic.
That's okay.
So I was asked by Amy, the director, over text that someone couldn't fulfill the obligation to be on the show, and I jumped at it because it's lip syncing. What's more fun than lip syncing? Everyone does it. You got a hairbrush and a mirror, like you're lip syncing. Everyone does it.
Yeah. But can you just for the sake of our viewers, because I know that you did the PA show here on this network, Livestream Niagara, a while back. Can you just because people might not have had an opportunity to actually ask you the question, tell us something about Patrick Alexander. Who the heck are you?
Been asking myself that since I was born, Lee.
Okay, well, try to tell me.
I'm a stand-up comedian, and I've been doing stand-up comedy in the area for about almost 4 years now. When I started, I was really green, but down the street, Showtime was nothing but great to me, and I started there. So a shout out to them. They've been just awesome. The comedy scene in Niagara is amazing, full of awesome, funny people, and they really welcomed me. I was on Niagara's Next Top Comic 2017, and I had only been doing stand-up for like a hot minute at this point. And I thought, okay, this is a little ambitious, but everyone urged me to do it, and I ended up winning. And I was just, thrilled and elated by that. So that kind of got the ball rolling, and I've done stand-up, kind of all over Ontario. And then I started doing the live stream show this summer because they were gracious enough to offer it to me, and it was a blast. I miss doing it. It was a lot of fun to connect with people and to, just talk to people in the area, especially at that time, because we were still in that bubble, where going out was still a big deal. So, now it's a little bit of eased up, but, it was great. I had a blast, and, I've been in this area my entire life. I was born and raised in Niagara Falls. I'm talking to you from there right now, not like the falls, like it's not like
no, it looks like something other than the falls behind you. Yeah. But you have a day job, right? You're not just an entertainer and a comedian.
I let that blend into my day job, which is being a teacher, because you're on every day when you're a teacher.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Every day.
Let me ask you about your wardrobe. Every time I see you, you have the most fabulous different costumes. Like right now, for example, you've got this great Halloween sort of thing going on here. How do you
spirit of Halloween?
well, I don't know. It looks like sort of a great skeletonolio kind of thing. So where does your sense of, I guess what I'm trying to say, where does your sense of fashion come from? Hello?
Come from?
I think we froze a little.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Where does your sense of fashion come from?
I heard you.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry. I know it's this cheap iPad I have. Well, you know what? When I started, this didn't come about right away. But my whole life, I was a big fan of entertainment in general. I love stand-up comedy, but I love music, and I always looked at people like, going back to like David Bowie, who was like my hero. Madonna,
one of mine too.
John.
Fabulous entertainer.
Yeah. Elton John, Madonna, Queen, like all these guys who, they were larger than life and they were an entertainer. And even if, you weren't a fan of theirs, you'd see their picture and like you would stop and take notice. Yeah. And so whenever I would look at, fashion, and I'm a big fan of fashion, I was really impressed by like Alexander McQueen and people like that who kind of brought in like darker elements and just kind of made people think. Because the quote that I always loved, I don't know who said it, but fashion is art you live your life in. And I got really inspired to start just kind of designing my outfits when I go on stage, because also it gets attention. You know what I mean? Like, and really, ultimately, that's what we want. So when I go up there, at first people couldn't remember my name because we would do all these open mics, and you only hear the name once, and there's like 12 people on it. Yeah. So they tended to remember me a little more because, oh, you're that guy. You know what I mean? And I just love doing it. I buy things, I take things from secondhand stores. A lot of this is from the spirit of Halloween. Pop-up shop, so people go to Tiffany's, I go there. But I just like playing around with that because I get a chance to, and I think that a stage to entertain people, that's the best way to do it. So
one of the things that I admire most about yourself and people like you is the fact that you tend to want to perform with no fear. And when I was a young person, and had these sort of desires to perform. And I did do that. I played in bands and all this other stuff. But when you perform, you seem to become something other than, other than reality. You're able to supplant fiction with fact and fact with fiction and create fantasy out of reality, and you do a wonderful job at it. Is that something that came hard to you, or is it still something that you struggle with?
Thank you for that. That's such a wonderful explanation of what I do. I'm so flattered. But no, to me, like I just kind of looked around and I thought, well, you know what? No one's really doing this. And, it could fail or it could not. But I think that, I'm a gay person, and growing up that way, you live with a lot of fear for a very long time. And there comes a point, at least for me, when I was around, I'd say 19, that you're just so tired of being scared. And you just kind of realize, you know what, my life is not going to be worth living if fear is going to be the main operative. If I don't really push that aside and only care about the people, like if you care about me and you love me, that's whose opinion I care about. People on the street, if you don't like me, that's okay. That's your business, and God bless. But if I don't take these chances and you walk to the other side of fear, you don't live. And when you go through something that you think is going to be horrible or full of fear, and you realize, hey, I just did that. The more you do it, the less fear you have, and you become somewhat, I still get nervous, but with stand-up, you'd have to be clinically insane to do it every night, because some nights you're awesome, some nights they don't like you, and but you love to do it. So even an off night is still a night to go on stage. So you have to have passion, and you have to have a willingness to go through fear.
Patrick, what's next for you? What's coming up? What's going on in your life? What if there's anything you want to promote or tell us about? Now's the time.
You know what's funny? Every time I do an interview, it's like I have a lull where it's like I got nothing. But I actually just finished. I just did Showtime's 5th anniversary. They've been around for 5 years, so happy anniversary, Showtime, my darling. And I did a show at Taps, Laughs, and Apps, which is in Niagara Falls. At Taps, it's a great show. Because we're trying to get them in, because, the way the government's talking now, hopefully we don't have to shut down again, but we're kind of like, so I'd love to say I have something to promote, but other than just my sweet self, nothing. But November, hey, I'm wide open, people. Book me, all right?
Okay.
Here. I work cheap.
All right. Is there anything that you have a wide range of talent. When you were when you were hosting the program here, PA, here he comes. Yeah. What's this? What do we got going on here?
This is Madonna's wig.
Madonna's wig, okay.
Yeah. So now, one thing that I made these 2 short videos before the song because I didn't really know the format, and it explained that when I was in school, I got this really boring assignment that I had to make something out of 3 items, and I pulled a a pipe cleaner, and 2 funnels. So I made magic by being Madonna. And that's why I did this. I thought people are just going to think I'm a busted up Madonna, and I'm not. Because I would have got a way better wig if this was the case. But I thought that was kind of adding a bit of a humorous edge to it. And I had 2 funnels for my bra, which I won't show because I don't know what the rating is on this show. But I had 2 funnels as my bustier.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
So,
Lee, let me hop in here and just talk to
Kevin,
Patrick
go
for a bit.
it. I mean,
Patrick, we're trying to find a way to get a camera on you here over at WeeStreem Niagara, just because you are an entertainer, and everything that Lee described, I agree with wholeheartedly. One thing I also like about you is your no fear, and also that you're very out and open with your sexuality. And I know that we just can't necessarily boil this down into a 60-second answer, but I think you can be inspiring, and I want to give you a platform so that young people that are questioning their own sexuality see that that there's no reason why you can't attain all your goals. And what would be your advice to maybe a teenager or somebody that's in that growth stage of life that is trying to understand their own sexuality? Where can they find strength and comfort?
That's a big question, Kevin.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
But you know what? I'm glad
okay?
you asked me, and I thank you for that. That's awesome. This is something I'd love to talk about. What I would say is, I stayed quiet a long time, and I didn't know who I could trust. You do question every relationship because you don't know how it's going to go. But there are people who clearly shine as like they would be there to support you, and I really feel like if you can find that person, it could be a relative, it could be a sibling, it could be someone in your family, or like a friend, a teacher. All right, I've had several students confide in me, and I keep that trust because I know what that's like. And I would just say that it's not as scary as you think. It's still scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's not an easy road to hoe, but it's still something that I feel is going to get progressively better, and that talking about it and you guys being willing to talk about it, me talking, that's what makes it easier. And it's inspiring to see such openness in this generation. But, the embers of prejudice are still there underneath the soot. It's still there. And I would just urge anyone, if you are in a crisis, if you feel like, you're suicidal or you're suffering from depression, like, you need to talk to somebody. Talk to a doctor, talk to a therapist, whoever it is, someone you can trust. Because once you verbalize it, the weight lifts a little bit. And when you see that not everyone is going to have a terrible reaction, then you feel a little more validated. But it's very difficult. But, if anyone's listening out there today, hey, look me up. I'm on Facebook. Talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Patrick Alexander. It's really easy to find.
That's awesome. That's great.
So please, I would love to hear your story.
And I have to share with you, I did not know anything of you, Patrick, until I started working with Kevin, and he contacted me to do perhaps a show on WeeStream Niagara and do this 411 thing. And when I was doing a little bit of research to see if I wanted to actually do any of this or not, I watched some of the shows that had already been done. And I got to tell you, the first thing that struck me is the fact that I really liked your nails. Because I always thought, why do females always get to have the nice nails?
Oh yeah, it's an art form. Not today.
I don't think that's fair.
I don't think so either.
And I'll tell you, the first thing that struck me was how incredibly talented and professional and prepared you were, and because of that, I want to find a reason to draw an audience
flood,
to you.
Kevin?
Yeah, I know. That was like your first show.
Yes. I came in just after the flood.
That was a big flood, and we were swimming down there, and you held your head above the water, and
so
made the ship float.
So, Patrick, let me get down to the nuts and bolts of the promotion here, because that's what we do in media entertainment. And again, tell me what's next. Tell me how we can help you promote what's happening again before we say goodnight.
Again, I'm on every social media platform. I'm at Patrick Alexander on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on the TikTok yet, but I may get there. I just feel I waste a lot of time anyway. But I want to do stand-up comedy. I'm usually at Showtime down here in St. Catharines on St. Paul Street, so come and check me out. I do all of my promotion through my social media, so look me up. I add everybody.
And we would love to have you as a regular contributor to this program. As a matter of fact, that notwithstanding, before we say goodbye, what is going on in the world of your circle right now that the people that are streaming this right now might be interested in hearing about? Tell us about something that might be happening right now that the rest of us so-called mainstreamers might not be aware of.
I don't know what
Well, I'm just saying.
I think something more
mainstreamers. I mean, just what's happening.
You mean
in
that
your
I'm
life?
a part of, or just in general?
Like
in general,
more human element. What's happening with you and your pals? People you're hanging with. Funny
That's
stories.
what I was kind of getting at.
Like for the virus, you mean, like in terms
in general.
of that?
Well, anything at all.
I got to tell you, so the flash and the glitter you see here paints over my very dull life normally, because as a teacher, I have a lot of stuff to read, so a lot of my time with that. But my friends and I, even now during the pandemic, and a shout out to them. Hey, I don't know if they're watching, but we keep on a Facebook feed, and that's how we keep tabs on each other. But I'm looking forward to Halloween. Halloween's my favorite time of year. I mean, I'm sure that was clear. But so I say it's the perfect holiday for now. The kids are wearing masks, they're socially distanced, and it's outside.
Do you think we'll be trick-or-treating this year? How do you think that's going to go?
I think I'm not worried about the trick-or-treaters because, again, they're always in very small groups and they're outside. I think it's the people at the doors that are worried. It's the transmission. So they have these tubes now that you just put candy on, and it comes out. They do.
Like
this
a pneumatic tube. Like,
yeah.
Getting a candy cannon.
Fire
in the hole.
System. She's gonna live to regret that. But that's the way we're gonna do it.
That's funny.
You got some Kit Kats coming in hot.
PA,
that's right.
Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure, and I hope you come back and join us often. All the best and for everything that you do. We thank you.
Thank you. Anytime.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Those pneumatic tubes. That's funny. All right. What a great guy. What a talent. You know, there are a few talents here in Niagara that do indeed rise above the cream, and Patrick Alexander is definitely one of them. Some of the things, Kevin, we can check in on that have happened through Niagara 411 over the course of the last week, and while we're getting ready to bring those up on the screen, I do want to once again thank all of the people that support us, Nick at Niagara 411 and all of his contributors, Kevin and Brandon at WeeStream that provide the technology for all of this, and they've had a very busy week. Kevin will fill us in on a few of the things that they've been doing recently in the next little while. Gale's Gas Bars Limited, as you can see them on this side of the screen, fueling Niagara for the last 50 years and for the next 50. We always appreciate their support, and they're going to be with us throughout the next number of months at least through to the end of the year. And of course here at this beautiful setting as we sit in Niagara's St. Paul Street in St. Catharines at 149 St. Paul, which is Fiddler's Pour House, and Dave McParian and all of his staff, which are great supporters of us, and we appreciate their staff and
good to see Kyle down here.
Patrons.
Mainstay.
Yeah, Kyle in the back. Hi, Kyle. How you doing?
Yeah, Kyle,
good.
Jamie here looking after us. Kat the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so
Lee,
that's good.
One thing we didn't cover before we went to air is we should probably wrap this show up about 10 minutes early today.
10 minutes early?
So we've only got about 20 minutes left, which means if you want to jump in and talk about the no masks, or maybe you're a really talented person, or you've just got an opinion on anything, but really the no masks, people still commenting on that. The debate is raging on Niagara 411 in the comments section. So join us here on the show. That's what the show is all about. This is a live show, and we line up guests. Really, though, what we want to happen is we want you, the person in Niagara, the person that follows Niagara 411, the lay person with an opinion. We want you to come on and kickstart the conversation
and just
move
talk
this thing
to us.
along.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just click on that link there. And at the end of the show today, Lee, we are going to feature some more music from a local duo, Laurel and Hully.
Oh, Okay.
Last week was Joel Van Vliet, and I thought it
Joel
worked
Van
out so
Vliet,
well.
yeah,
to
we
play
had a
one of
great
his-
time with him, yeah.
Joel was great, and we ended the show with that great shot of St. Paul Street. Here, I'll show them now. There's the live look
shot,
on St.
yeah.
Paul. I'll get your name out of there, so those guys aren't identified as Lee Sterry.
Yeah, those aren't Lee Sterry, no.
Those are not Lee Sterry.
Yeah.
And we'll play a video towards the end. So
Okay.
anyway, Lee, I'll let you get back at it. But I know you wanted to go to Niagara 411 stuff. We can start with the plane that was doing that search over Lake Ontario.
Yes. Yesterday, when I came home from doing whatever I do, my wife says, there was this plane flying around and around and around our house. And we live very close to the south shore of Lake Ontario, and this is what it was. This came up on Niagara 411. You may see a Canadian Search and Rescue C-130, and this was the connection from Halton Police through here to Niagara. Coordinated search of Lake Ontario ongoing for missing Oakville man Eric Quimby. Set sail from Oakville, yesterday morning and is not returned. Please contact police if you see him or his vessel. Now, that's the vessel, but here is the search area that was going on all through the Lake Ontario area from, as you can see, the Pickering north shore of Lake Ontario to the south shore, right through Port Dalhousie and Niagara-on-the-Lake. And that's the plane. If you saw a plane, it's a C-130 Hercules, by the way. If you saw that plane soaring above you and you're wondering why it was doing these circles, that was around here in the south shore of Lake Ontario, that is why they were searching for this guy and his boat, and there were many sources out looking for him, including that great big airplane. Some people might have thought it was the Lancaster bomber. It was not. If somebody said, oh, that was the Lancaster doing a flyover, no, it was not. It was that C-130 Hercules that was helping all of the security and Coast Guard people looking for that boat. So that's what that was there for.
So that photo there, Lee, is of the boat recovery, which they found near Rochester in the water, but no sign of Eric Quimby.
Well, that's the thing that we're concerned about. Is there was Kevin? There was no sign of the captain of that ship, of that boat.
No, and I haven't seen an update to indicate
now,
that there has.
There's the plane that was circling above the south shore of Lake Ontario and the north end of St. Catharines, and there are the search areas that the boats, the Coast Guard, the planes, and other private rescue boats were looking to try to find Eric Quimby, but there is to date no sign of the fact that Eric Quimby has been found, unfortunately.
No, nothing.
All right.
It's too bad.
So if that's what you were wondering about, that was motoring above your home or above your business yesterday, that's the guy right there.
There it goes, right there.
And there it is. That's a great shot right there, Kevin. I don't know who shot that, but that's a great shot.
Taylor.
Taylor Caitlin. Thank you, Taylor. That's awesome. Okay. And that's the gentleman there that just flipped off the screen that they were searching.
Yeah,
for.
Eric Quimby. And I haven't heard an update.
No, we haven't. Kevin, it's been an interesting week. There was a post that there was a river rescue underway, and it turned into a recovery, and it became the subject of quite a, I guess what you might want to say, comment competition, for the lack of a better phrase, on Niagara 411, because there was a Niagara Parks River Rescue underway. Niagara Parks Police, Niagara Falls Fire Department, and EMS crews were on site at the bottom of Clifton Hill near the Hornblower for reports of 2 people in the water. And this was a story that was a little bit complicated at first, and it ran its course over the course of a number of hours. Niagara Parks Police, Niagara Falls Fire Department, and EMS crews on the side of the bottom of Clifton Hill near the Hornblower for reports of 2 people in the water. And there were a lot of operations that tried to participate in this, including Niagara Hornblower's boats and a number of rescue personnel. Now, this turned into a tragic story in the fact that, and we're not going to make too fine a point on this. The result is that 2 women have passed away as a result of this tragic situation. Their names are being withheld, and the details of the incident are also not being released, except to say that our hearts and thoughts go out to the families and the people that were involved in that, in the fact that 2 women lost their lives in the Niagara Falls area yesterday. So that we feel very sorry for that. But again, kudos to those people that attempted to facilitate the rescue and recovery of those ladies. So
now, Lee, do have an update here coming straight to us from Nick at Niagara 411.
Yeah,
saying that, and this is breaking news just right now, that Riley, the 12-year-old who was missing, has just been found safe in Wainfleet.
Awesome. This was another story that we wanted to touch on. So let's get to that one. So maybe a little bit more happy news.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's been so many missing persons reports this week.
So many.
And some have ended tragically, which, again, condolences to the families and loved ones and those
absolutely.
Close. But, I'll try and find the one on Riley, but that's a great news.
A gentleman that we wanted to talk about earlier in the week, we were talking about this gentleman, an 81-year-old fellow from Port Colborne. Unfortunately, this gentleman was also found deceased, and our thoughts go out to his family and friends, and we appreciate the efforts of the local constabulary and the recovery people that found this gentleman. It's unfortunate that these things happen. A man was arrested in. Here's an interesting
I apologize,
story.
Lee. Riley is the female. And I remember seeing, and that's what I was a little confused keeping track of it all.
Okay.
So people probably remember seeing this on Niagara 411.
So it's still kind of up in the air, but...
Oh, yes, Riley. Yeah.
And again, she was found safe in Wainfleet, and that's just
Awesome.
moments ago.
That's terrific. I'm glad Riley is safe. The story that I was starting to touch on before Kevin brought Riley up there was the fact that there was a fellow arrested for assault, and he assaulted a police officer, actually, in Grimsby. On Wednesday, October, I'm just referencing my laptop here, that's why I'm not looking at you. On Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, at approximately 10 a.m., 3 district uniform officers attended the area of Murray Street and Olive Street in the town of Grimsby in response to a nude male, that's what I said, a nude male attempting to enter numerous houses in the area. Well, as the story went on, this fellow ended up assaulting a police officer and eventually was arrested, etc. Now, you would automatically think, as a result of this, that there is some sort of mental illness involved or some special circumstances involved, and that's understandable. But the thing that got people's attention, and when we were talking about the comments that came at the end of this thing, was the fact that the man was arrested and he was charged and then he was released. Okay, so what we're not sure of is what happened in the interim. Obviously, this person, if that were me, I would think I have some sort of issue that I need to deal with. But if I'm arrested after doing something like this, and then they just put my clothes back on me or give me a towel or whatever it is, and then they release me, what then? So that was not something that was included. I'm assuming that the Niagara Regional Police Service made further investigations or took further actions to make sure that this fellow was justifiably detained or put in a certain place where he could be looked after. I'm just assuming that, but we don't know that because it didn't say that in the story. I would like to think that we just didn't release him to take his clothes off again and go someplace else. But it didn't say that. These are the things that when you read these stories, you kind of like, okay, but we have questions about some of these things that happen, and why don't they answer these questions? And I just kind of would like to know the answers. So I'm just asking the questions on your behalf, and I don't have the answers.
A weird wrinkle in this story, Lee, is that this was in broad daylight. This is in the middle of the afternoon. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
He's knocking on doors.
Naked.
I
mean, that has to be stressed. Naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the only thing that the media release said from the NRPS was the fact that he was arrested and then released. And justifiably so. The comments that came afterward were, hello? He was released? Shouldn't we know more than that? I think we should know a little bit more than that. Now, there was probably more to that, but we don't know what was. Is that fair to say, Kevin?
I think so.
I'm sure the local constabulary followed through a little bit more than that.
I would think so.
But we don't know what the result of that was.
I am seeing via the comments, Lee, that on the day in question there was a strange occurrence. A full moon was reported in Grimsby.
Okay.
That was about.
So that was interesting. And then now there was another story, and we don't have anybody on to talk about this, but just in case you have experienced this, have you heard coyotes anywhere around your neighborhood? Have you seen them? There was a picture. Kevin, I know, can find this picture. Well, I'm assuming he can, because Kevin is, well, he's a wizard at
I'm
this
an octopus
stuff.
back here.
So, but there was a story a couple of weeks ago about the fact that we should be on the lookout for coyotes in the Niagara region because they're out there and you have to kind of be aware of it. Well, I happened to be out, I was playing golf, to be perfectly honest, out at Rockway Vineyard and Golf Course out up Pelham way, and walking onto a particular tee. I think it was the 9th tee out at by the way, Rockway, your golf course is lovely, so this is not. There it is. There's the picture that occurred a couple of weeks ago. A young, you might call him baby or a puppy, coyote, feasting on roadkill on a street here in Niagara. So coyotes are a thing. So when we were on the golf course up there at Rockway, way off in the distance, it sounded like a pack of hounds, like it was fabulous to listen to. Actually, I have to tell you the truth. So we do have a coyote issue in areas around Niagara. So if you have small dogs or cats or stuff like that, and especially if you live in more rural areas where my friend Kevin does, you may want to keep them very close to home because these critters are out there. And I heard them for my own self, as they say.
Now, Lee, we moved about a year ago. Prior to that, we lived just over the other side of the Burgoyne Bridge.
Yeah,
and
just on the other side. Yeah, just St. Paul West there.
And backed onto 12 Mile Creek.
Yeah.
We would hear coyotes at night all the time.
Okay, I rest my case.
So they're definitely running up and down that strip, which, of course, connects into Sandplant Hill and going up to Brock University and all that wooded area, and eventually
down
links up to the short hills.
12 Mile Creek. And
absolutely. So they're out there. I remember seeing one fly right by me. I saw a deer running, And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, why is that deer running? Oh, now I know why the deer is running.
Yeah.
Coyote hot on its tail.
Yeah, so they are out there. So don't take it lightly. Be careful, especially if you have small dogs or cats and you live in more of a rural area and they're outdoor animals. Our friendly coyotes are out there. Now, they're not really aggressive creatures. They're not going to attack you. They're more afraid of you than you are of them, except that if they have some sort of a critter that's walking into their neighborhood, they will pay attention. So just keep an eye out for those. Kevin, we're just about ready to go, as you mentioned before, and for the last 10 minutes, we're going to present some sort of a performance for our folks here.
You're going to hear the music of Laurel and Hully, a local duo. They've been featured during the Performing Arts Center Perform series, and I'm actually working a wedding with them on Saturday. So I look forward to meeting them.
Before we do that, I do want to tell you and beseech you to contact us. You saw some of the comments earlier from the folks that were following this program. We are indeed a local Niagara show. We're not here to make points. We're not here to make a crap load of money. We're not here to promote any sort of political agenda. We are here to represent the stories, the people, and the aura and the news of Niagara. And we would love you to be a part of it. Over here, you will see the fact that if you already have a Zoom app on your phone or your computer, you can call into us when we're on the air at 905-411-0411. The name of the show is The 411. The website is Livestream Niagara. This is the flagship show of Livestream Niagara. I am your host, Lee Sterry. Kevin Jack is the executive producer of this program from WeeStream Niagara. Gales Gas Bars Limited are the sponsors, the premier and only sponsor of this program. We're not in this to try to sell a crap load of advertising, but we do need to support ourselves, and we appreciate the fact that Gales Gas Bars Limited does that for us. We also want to thank Nick at Niagara 411 because we do cooperate with him and his contributors for the content of this program, and also, of course, Dag Mukparian, his friends affectionately call him Mook, here at Fiddler's Poorhouse for hosting us in this beautiful setting in downtown St. Catharines on St. Paul Street. So that is a whole preamble to tell you that if you would love or like or even have an interest in participating in this show or being a contributor, let us know. You don't have to do so right now, but contact us on Livestream Niagara. Kevin will be the primary contact for that, and we would love to talk to you about being a contributor of this show. And if you have anything to say about us or comment or have any suggestions, take that same route as well. So again, we appreciate you joining us on this episode 17 on this October the 8th. Kevin, it's a pleasure as always. Want to thank Sandor for joining us in that mask debate, which was really, really interesting. Patrick Alexander, always a favorite of ours. And we say rest in peace to Eddie Van Halen. Kevin, I will let you take it away.
Alarm is blasting in our faces. I know we should be going places, but I'm waiting for you, man. And I'm not sure if I could stay. Don't take it as I'm feeling lazy, 'cause all my body's going crazy, but I'm alive and well. And I'm not sure if you could tell, but I don't remember what I told myself I didn't need to feel this way. And I don't remember what your body feels like, so refreshed. I just want